Welcome to another episode of The Differentiators. Today we have with us Vijendra Rao and Rahul Tiwari, who are the co-founders of Techcanopy Labs, which is a tech startup based out of Bangalore. So they focus on building effective and real-world technology solutions for small and medium-scale businesses. I'm really excited for this one, Shreyas, because this is the first time we have both the co-founders, the CEO and the CTO, on the same episode. So really excited for this. Okay, Vijendra, I'll just get started with the first question. So I just wanted to understand from you, or even Rahul can also, feel free to pick this up. So I just wanted to understand your journey so far. I know it's been about 4 years since you guys started Techcanopy. So how did Techcanopy start? And if you can talk a little bit about the journey so far.
Yeah, sure. I think we did start, 7 years ago from paper perspective, because we did start in 2016. We did register the company. Back then, it just Vijendra was there. Then we want to do something. Specifically, it's more like I want to do something kind of a thing. And then it's like what to do is also a big question. So myself spent a lot of time in outside of India. So when I come back, I came back from Canada in 2015. So in 2016, I registered a company and want to do something. So it's always in my back of my mind that something I need to do differently, because working in a lot of companies, I see there is a gap of tech versus business. So want to do something different, right? But I didn't have any idea how does a tech business works out of offshore, like India. I know most of it running in US and stuff, right? So then I thought, let me join some company in India. That's when I actually joined Mindtree, and it's a great experience. And that's where I learned most of how exactly delivery works, how exactly a tech works out of India, and how great it is. Actually, there is a lot of assumptions in my mind that I think in offshore there's not much tech. It's all at the customer place. In offshore, people just do, without understanding business, they just do work. But it's not true anymore. That's what I realized. And then this idea of what to do, we did a lot of things. Like you name it, we've done it. We've done website. I have done website designs. I have done trying to solve different problems of somebody, I want to do an IoT, somebody wants to do can you convert an paper-based into an Excel sheet? We tried everything, but nothing is evident enough or satisfying me. Like, okay, this is what I want to do. So that's the reason, even in keeping the Techcanopy as a name, it's more of one umbrella for all solutions, which I don't think ever works. But still, so that was the idea behind it. And then I talked about the startup idea about I want to do something different, but everybody just asked what. I don't know. So kind of a thing, right? So we've done that a lot for almost 2-3 years. It is all thinking about what to do. I talked about my startup to thousands of people. And Rahul is one of the guy I never ever thought I would talk about my startup with him. So he's part of my team back in Mindtree, and then it just happened one day. I just spoke to him about, I'm thinking about starting some startup, and he's the first guy who just followed up back. Everybody, I wanted them to be part of my startup. Nobody followed up. So he was the first one who followed up and said, you talked about something you want to start. So what is it about? So that's how that journey started. And then we started realizing, I think there's a lot of things me and Rahul can do together. And I think it was 2018 sometime.
Yes.
And 2019, late 2019, that's when we realized, I think we have a good mindset to start something. And we are also realizing without giving 100%, it is not going to happen. So plus myself, Rahul, both are good employees. I always call that, because we love our work a lot. And we used to give like 200%, 300%, 24%. We used to always think about work. And there is no way we say that, okay, I can work my company off and this company off, because the work I used to do as an employee itself was very, very exciting. And also as a techie person, I used to love it. And the same case was something when we started thinking about hiring somebody, because there was the only face was only Vijendra and Rahul, I think. And then we hired a first employee, and he used to work out of some co-working space. We used to spend time in the weekend, what to do, what not to do, and we tried to build a product called CRM. That's how it started, the journey. And we officially started on 27th of February, right? That was my daughter's birthday. We opened an office, and exactly, I think, 8-9 days from then, we had a COVID closure. So lockdown came in. It was 27th of February 2020. So I think 18th or 19th of March is when lockdown happened. That's the journey. I think the start of Techcanopy. I think Rahul might have a different
No. See,
journey altogether.
yeah. So yeah. So I was like, from my side also, like I was thought of like doing something different, not just like working for something, but yeah, building something of my own. So that's when Vijendra discussed about his ideas, right? So that's where it clicked, because the thought process was matching. He was also not 100% sure what we are going to do, and the same thought, if somebody asked me, okay, you want to do something of your own, what exactly what? So I couldn't answer that, basically. So that's where, when we discussed, that's how actually that click. Okay, he's basically in the same situation and dilemma which I have. So let's work together, and then probably we can make out something which both of us can figure out together, rather than me thinking alone or he thinking alone. So that's how it started. And if you remember the initial ideas which we were having, I will not say it's a crazy ideas. Some of them actually came as a product, and they're still working. So just like to be recorded, right? So we thought right from delivering milk to like securing an apartment through various ways. So yeah, a lot of discussions actually we were having. And then one thing both of us kind of agreed upon later is that coming to a product is, or a specific product, right? It was not coming out. And rather than just sitting and not doing anything, we wanted to start something. And then both of us being from the service industry from a long time, we thought of like basically from architecture consulting, both of us being architect, we thought, okay, that is the easiest, or you can say a starting point we can easily look forward to, or at least can imagine. So that's how it basically started. We started searching for work whom we can get for, let's say, consulting the architecture, which we can do for people. And that's how basically we thought of starting up with a day, 27th of Feb, good day, because it was Vijendra's daughter's birthday. Yeah. So.
That's
we just wanted to understand.
Yeah, go ahead, Shreyas.
Yeah, we just wanted to understand the core inefficiencies that you were trying to solve with Techcanopy, and which you saw while working for other organizations as well. So what was the main focus there?
There was no inefficiency as such. What I used to personally feel is that, but that differs today after running a company for 4 years. But but in the beginning days of when I want to do something different, right? So always had this mindset of, there is a concept called as overhead in IT industry, which is like all this set of management folks, or it could be your non-billable concept. Which was always used to trouble me, like why I need a PM, why I need an HR, why I need this finance guy who's sitting there, who's a PMO basically, who's sitting there and who technically not contributing to the project, but we need to share billing and people so-called overheads and whatnot, right? So that was one of the aspects which you think, when we start a company, there is no hell way we're going to have any of these people. So we're going to have only developers, and then we're going to have only we as a tech people who's going to do this work. But today, that completely changes the way we think. They are the core essential people who actually drive a lot of things in day-to-day life, actually, for us, most of us. And at the same time, the second piece was also like we were thinking, there is something called as an oversell. I always had this in mind. I think me and Rahul used to talk a lot about it, saying that if a customer is asking, I need a single page application, people suggest, please go ahead with React. I said, why you need React? Just give a single HTML page to him and done. And at the same time, second thing is also technical efficiency or proficiency, so-called, that most of the tech companies try to push to customer to say that I am good at it, so you use it. For example, you want to process, let's say, 2 million records, so use big data. You don't need big data for 2 million records. So that is something which me and Rahul is to think about. I think it can be solved so easily. I don't know why they make it so complicated. So keeping it simple was something which was not always there. It could be today, if you understand correctly, that could be a possibility, a strategy of business. So itself altogether. That is something which was not okay with us at all. So we never used to go to any customer, and even today in our company, we never go and talk to any customer about use this technology because we have such kind of people with us. So kind of a thing, we don't do that. I think that was two major things which first one, I kind of agree with. Whatever they're doing is absolutely correct, and we are doing that today. The second piece is still, I am not okay with it. And unless customer pushes for it, we try to keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah, that was an interesting point, Vijendra. You just mentioned, especially the first point, which you mentioned. If developers are there, then that's enough. Why do we need the others around the developers? So what was that insight that led you to actually understand that we need the others also? So based on your experience, you may have seen something early on working at Techcanopy that it's not just the developers, we also need the others. So what is the reason for that? What led you to thinking?
Let me try that. Okay. So I would say it in little, so like Vijendra mentioned, right? Both of us used to think we don't need other people, right? As soon as we started and we gathered the team, we realized, okay, handling technical people is not easy. It's like everybody is have their own brilliance, right? And they all go in all the directions. And we being technical also, sometimes we kind of align to the same behavior, and we thought almost like across the board, basically. What happens with that? You will have good minds, but you will realize you are not able to basically utilize their strength in a better way. And handling and managing them it was becoming a challenge for us, because that is a skill which both of us don't have. We can solve a technical problem, we can sit and write the code, but aligning everybody together, keeping a note of what is supposed to be done and what time, when to delivery should go, when the notification should be sent, and following up with somebody every day, right? It was not the core skill which we had. And couple of people, I think 4 or 5 or 7 you can handle. That's what we realized. 7 to 10, probably we never had that issue of we need somebody else. But when we cross that number, we suddenly realize, no, we need to have a manager. And that time we realize where exactly they use, basically their actual core strength will come in as a management. And then we started. So that whole mindset which we had, these people are not useful, it suddenly actually starts shifting from 7 to 10, in between some that number where we realize everybody's going in all the direction, including us. And we need somebody to, it's not in the wrong sense, basically, to have a stick and keep everybody in the same direction, basically. So and other people, obviously.
I think it's a need.
Yeah, that was for a management, right? For HR also, same thing. We cannot do it. So
we did it, by the way. We did do it. I think there was that period of time where Rahul, myself were chartered accountants, HRs, whatnot, and to an extent, it was working as he said, right? So then after that, you started realizing that this kind of work is so intense for you that after a period of time, you actually forget your real work and you focus on this, because this is going to give you that process implementation and those areas. And we started realizing, I think we're spending too much time on things which are not supposed to be spent on. So I think that's what we have to come out.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand the skill sets that are required to run a company. So what skill sets, because you are complementary skill sets. So I just wanted to understand what skill sets the other one has that is helpful for the company.
It's most difficult question.
Yeah, I think in my experience, 4 years, I think the only thing which I feel the skill set so-called is your behavioral skill set, which is going to be patience. That's it. Patience, and I think probably Rahul usually say, you say that, right? Don't react, respond. So that is something, there are 2 things you need to keep in mind. Other than that, I think everything is already in our combination, myself and Rahul. When we started the company, I was very aggressive, very aggressive, very, very aggressive. And alternatively, Rahul is very patient, like, relax, it's okay. And all. Today, we both come to that almost the same line. We both stand, we are not that aggressive. We are not at the same time not too much soft for everything. We know what we need, and that's how it goes. I think skill set perspective, everybody thinks, oh, I'm a technical person. So like me and Rahul, right? We both can code in any language. It doesn't mean that we take projects which are of any language. So that doesn't work that way. So I think it's a different thought. I think business is a business. That's what we also realized later, that technology has nothing to do with business. So which has to, but it takes a lot of time for us to evolve. Being code techies, coming out of code and doing things is not easy. And then trust me, there are many cases. I was like, let me code this in a app. Much easy for me, but it doesn't work in app because it's going to change every day. So different ball game.
Yeah. So with that, I'll also like to add the persistence and continuous learning, because every day is gonna be very different. Whatever you'll think, right? Okay, if I'm patient enough, I'm aggressive enough, will that work? It's not going to work. Something will come up where you have to change the way you think. The result will not come, obviously. The failure will be there, so persistence is required. You cannot leave things wherever the failure occurred. You have to learn from it and you have to continue. And you need to have your clear vision where exactly you are heading towards. And that should fuel, I would say, the fire inside you to continue whatever you want to do.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So because you were just core techies when you started out, right? So I'm sure that landing your first few customers may have been a challenge. So how did that happen? So what were the challenges that you faced when you were trying to land your first few customers?
Well, actually, it's not a challenge. I'm very thankful to Mindtree for that. So when I was to work for Mindtree, right, being a tech person, there are a lot of things I learned alongside of a tech person. So which is, again, that's the reason I'm very happy to talk about Mindtree a lot, because there's a lot of learning I did in Mindtree, where how to present your idea, how to so it's like tech and business go hand in hand. So I always say, like, a business plus tech kind of a guy. And that presentation skills and everything was been taught. More than teaching, there are a lot of people who are working with me. They told me that, you're putting this technical word may not be helpful, so you replace it with this business word. So I think in the beginning days, to be honest, even till today, I think other than one customer, most of the customers have come from reference. Everybody know us, and because of that, we are working with them. But the challenge was, as I said, we still have no sales team, and we can't do sales. That is for sure, for sure. But how much of passion we have about our company, I can talk about 2 hours about our company. Rahul can talk about 3 hours about our company. But no business wants to buy services from you or solutions from you just because co-founders and founders has this passion and energy. So they always rely on your team. So that is something which is, we haven't started anything on the sales yet, but that is something which is take a lot of time for you to learn. And as I said, Rahul was saying, continuous learning is required, but how much you learn, you can support the structure that gives management an edge to understand what they are saying. You don't get into that role. So you try to get into that role, then you're going to lose your role. So you're supposed to do something else. So that is something which we learned in a hard way, to be honest.
Yeah. So understanding this, we wanted to understand how do you get your customers to give their requirements as well? So each one is a different thing. So is there a framework for it to get a requirement from the customer?
So I think this is where now we are getting into the key strategies or the thought process of Techcanopy, how we work with our customers, right? So to be honest, as I said, right, so we are a little different than, as Rahul was mentioning, we both come from service-based industry and but worked on really good projects, really crazy amount of solutions, which is like you can't even imagine. I think myself, Rahul, both of us as part of one of the migrations. I think it's going to happen once in our lifetime, kind of an migrations we did, with which we I think migrated more than 1.5 billion records, and millions and millions of customer migrations has happened. So. But even if you look at that kind of a project or a work, which was very challenging, it is almost as close to a product or a platform kind of a thing. So when we started, I think typically, as you said, we don't want to keep sitting and assuming what to do. Rather than let's pick up any work. So over the period of 2-3 years now, we learned that our core skill sits in platform development. So that's where we are different from service-based, product-based, whatever it is. So we are actually exactly in between those two, where we work with our customers for a long duration, where we can actually put a high skill solutions or a high sustainable solutions, simple solutions, and that value doesn't come overnight. So for example, if I'm working with you for 2 months or a 3-month project, or let's say 6 months project, there is no way I can provide a value for a customer within that short period of time. So even for the developer perspective, if you're telling a developer that there is a delivery coming out of your hand in 6 months, and after 6 months, that product goes to someone else for production support or whatnot, right? So then obviously developer will do hacks. I am developer, I know exactly how it happens when just before the delivery, right? That's when we started getting into that mode of, we go to customers, we don't ask them requirements. We only ask them one question: what is the goal of this platform? And we don't work with any of our customers as vendors. We always work with every customer as a partner. We are part of their team to make their goal achieve. So we will go along with their side and work on it. And all of our businesses today are exactly working in the same model. We don't go with any business with, this is the number of people I want, this is the cost, this is the technology I use, this is what. So we don't go with that model at all. We directly go to the customer, talk to them about what are we trying to do. For instance, there is somebody trying to do trying to build a lending platform. So we go and talk to them about, okay, you want to build a lending platform? Okay. So I think in the initial stages, let's go with a small team of, let's say, 5 people, right? So let's do this. Let me understand your business. So let me understand. And over the period of time, what also happens with the customers are, which most of the people don't understand, is that if you're actually part of their team, they go through a lot of transformations on their own businesses. So that's when you so-called in service industry, so-called change request, where you ask more money from customer, which is not fair, to be honest, because you're part of their team, there is a change coming through. So you have to suggest, being a technical person, you go and suggest them that, don't do that. So I think you should stop these features. Instead, you take these features because your business is expecting that to happen in next 2 quarters, 1 quarter. So that's what we're trying to do with a lot of customers. And the work perspective also, it's very challenging, because most of the decisions, most of the technological pick, or could be a product pick, or anything is done by us. So it's much easier for us to also talk about the challenges. And also the mindset of our developers also is not like specific to a specific language or specific tool or anything like that. We talk about logically, we should be able to solve a problem. That's, I think Rahul is doing an amazing job on that. So to me, keeping everybody in that mindset, but that's where we getting into the business perspective. And we are not going to any customer asking for, give me this work for, let's say, 2 months, 3 months. Other than this majority business, the other one small pieces which we are working on is, we usually help people with POC and POVs, which is, again, as a startup, we personally feel that we can do that work efficiently, so that the business can make a better decision for future. For instance, we've done POVs and POCs for some of the organizations where we took a piece of work we did for 6-7 months, very challenging, and that is also kind of all over the place, right? So for example, you have to do both market research, or could be what technology to use, either it's a mobile first, or should be an API-based platform. What is it you are supposed to do? And everything, we take care of it, and we'll give a comprehensive solution along with what could be the scale of this. Also, we'll provide to them, and then they can go to all these big giants. Because even if they ask me, or Rahul that can you start this project because you already know doing a POC with 200 people. We can't start with 200 people. So we always tell them, here is the solution, here is the right way to do it. Take it to giants. They can get you as many people as you want, and we usually stay in the background as retainers and we help them out with consulting. That's another round of pieces where we do work on. So it's not specific to tech or I think we never went to customer and said that we need to add a person because of extra work. So we usually go to the customer and say that we added a person already. He is going to work on it because there is a trust we already have with the customer. That is, we don't, and we have reduced people also. We have actually switched people. Say, for example, like I think recently Rahul has changed one developer and put a automation tester. Saying that you don't need a developer, you need an automation tester. So that's how the journey is moving. So such decisions has to be made because as long as you work with that customer as their team, they will be successful. Obviously, will be successful.
But that's interesting what you just mentioned there. So, one other question, as you were speaking about this, one other question that I had in my mind was, what if organizations are specifically looking for someone external only for a specific amount of time? So they've already decided that this is the work that this person is going to do. Instead of hiring someone full time, I will go to another organization and hire an external consultant. So in that case, you're probably just going to implement what the leadership or what the organization has already decided, as opposed to providing something additional to what is already expected from you. So like you mentioned, the employees of Techcanopy, I know they are involved in a lot of POCs and POVs. But what if a potential customer comes up with such a request where this is all we need and this is what we want you for and nothing more than just this? So in that case, have you encountered such a scenario? And in that case, how do you handle such a situation?
Technically, if an existing customer, it's more of an obligation, and we might do it. We say that yes, probably, you know what, other team, I'll give you a small team, they can do this work and let go of it. But 90% of the time, if it's a brand new customer, first of all, he's not my customer. So I always say no. So definitely we actually said no to a lot of people. People came to us saying that technical support or production support or enhancements. We said no, absolutely no. We said not our core skill. Even though if it is core skill, we don't want to have that kind of a business. We said no. But with the existing customer also, if the person is coming and saying, you know what, I want to do this only this much. I think a couple of discussions when we have with them, trying to understand what is the outcome of this work they're trying to do, everybody will obviously talk about it. Nobody will say that this is the work. I'm just telling you do it. It's none of your business what I'm doing after that. So obviously they talk about it, and the more and more we talk through that, so that I think it's going to grow into that platform itself altogether. So we always focus on those areas, and also when we go into any small work we want to do for anybody, we actually see a potential long-term view. Otherwise, we don't take the business. So we have done some cases where we are doing it's not a platform; it's kind of an application for a customer in Middle East. But after this multiple discussions with the customer, we realized it is not as simple as what they are thinking. We gave our feedback to them saying that I think you can do this, along with it. There's a suite of application that can help you with the organization. It did grow into that, whatever the view is. So that's where our core strength come into picture. We gel a lot with business and we'll tell them what needs to be done along with whatever thinking. So it's our response. We personally feel it's our responsibility to, how can I put this in, train them or upskill the business what tech can do for them, rather than they have their own mindset and thinking that only these techies were enough. And we can go back and tell them, you know what, with this additional activities you can do or additional solutions if you bring in, you can actually achieve X more out of whatever you're already getting.
Yeah, so mostly what like you were asking, right? If somebody knows specific, it is, with our experience, we realize it's not that easy. That specific is not actually specific. It's just about the person who is telling you or communicating you doesn't know everything. So when you start the conversation, it actually leads you to the source from where exactly that requirement is coming from. And during that requirement discussions and probably or more business discussions around it, we realize, okay, it doesn't seem like, let's say, if it goes positive, we can, like Vijendra was suggesting, we can suggest, okay, you can, it is slowly growing into, let's say, a suite of multiple products or applications, or it's looking like another set of a platform. That actually interests us. So then we participate and we want to continue that. But if we realize, okay, no, it's a really very specific requirement where somebody just want to, let's say, do something for a month or two where we can't see a growth of a platform, or we contributing to their platform, it's just kind of a, I was actually not intended to use this word, body shopping kind of a thing. Then we just say no to them. We sometimes just guide them, okay, you go here, go there, you can get it done.
Yeah, we want to understand your product offerings as well, because we have spoken about it. So with the past work and the live use cases, can you elaborate on the product offerings that you have done, apart from the platform and the platform, both?
I think product as such, as I said, right, we don't doing any product as such, but there is a lot of offerings which majority of our business today is done based on platform, only platform development. That is the major use case or major area of expertise we own. Even in that, if you go more technical now, as like you're actually asking an architect to explain about things. So it's more of fintech is majority of our businesses. So majority of the lending platforms, your core banking platforms, it could be your invest platforms, the wealth management platforms. So that's what we have built so far. And also we are recently working with one of the customer about there's something called as a public investment platform. For instance, like tax filing or something like that, right? So outside, it is an outside available on the public. Like for example, if you look at similar kind of platforms, if you look at Clear Tax, or it could be such platforms which is available for public to use taxation or any other features into the for any end users basically, right? So that's what we tend to build. Most of our, not most, 100% of all our offerings are all completely in cloud, completely in Docker, fully based on microservices, and we do support majority of our business runs in 2 tech stacks. One of the tech stack is Java microservices, which is Java, Spring Boot, that area, and another one is JavaScript and React and basically a MERN stack, right? So that is 2 major swing of applications or suite of applications or which tech stacks which supporting our platforms. In addition to that, we also support one of the major platform called data platform. So as such data. So myself, Rahul, have a tremendous amount of experience in data. We dealt with data in millions and billions. So we have a data platform work which we're actually helping people about. Even streaming platform is one of the major one where we support Kafka a lot. We have a big Kafka team which support many aspects of real-time events. And we also support some of the data analysis and data platform related things also along with it. But it's not growing bigger and bigger because that requires infrastructure, that requires expertise. And most of this business, especially with data requires huge number of people. Like we need like a team of 100, 200, 500. And also usually we are not into that. We are mostly into the consulting and trying to do some of the aspects, but we did do couple of event streaming solutions for our customers, retail, hospitality. We are doing for fintech as well. That is another area we are looking at. And in addition to, I think all the other aspects of it, like for example, DevOps, observability stack, cloud offerings, and all is we don't sell them as individual. As I said, we don't sell as a we are cloud experts, we can help you in cloud. We never do that. So it's comes from the package. So it's like solutions in cloud. So that's one of the key things what we do. I think for the next couple of years, we are trying to grow towards the data and digitization front, very specifically coming all the way from mobile first into all the way to the back end. That's the core area of what we are trying to focus on. And security aspects, those things also is part of it. So we don't do anything specific to security as such, but overall as a solution, we take care of it. Basically, any platform end to end, we'll take care.
Are there any other organizations that are similar to Techcanopy, which is not product first or service first, as opposed to platform first? Like, do you have other service providers who are similar, who are also competing with you in the same space?
Well, actually, none I know of, to be honest. But I know majority of the service industries has this wing called COE, Center of Excellence, or it could be they call it as this core R&D divisions or CTO divisions. Those are all the typical run in the same model as us. So they are the core techie people. They focus on solving a bigger problem, focus problems, something like that. So all organizations has it, if you look at it. But if you go at a higher scale, or obviously it's going to dilute. Like it or not, it's going to dilute. And we are trying to see that we don't want to dilute it, but I don't know. When we grow, we don't know how it's going to work, but it is going to dilute, like it or not. Because, for example, if I'm building a platform of 5-year long duration, think about all those work we're going to do at the 5th year. Definitely not be something challenging you're working. Obviously, you know your platform already, and you might be solving a simple problem, and you might feel like very simple. But technically, that's how it works. It's going to dilute over the period of time. But important thing of building a platform, which we realized, is keeping your developers hunger to a limit. So I think if you're a really good developer, they need a good work. So that also will keep them happy. Keeping them happy with money is not going to work, for sure.
Right. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that about developers and how you keep them happy, so I just want to talk a little bit about the culture that you have, because I think culture is one of the most important driving factors that keeps people happy, right? In wherever they're working for. So I saw on your website that we at Techcanopy, we don't do average, we do awesome. So I'm sure that's not just a tagline as such. You want to imbibe that as part of your culture natively. So can you talk a little bit about the culture at Techcanopy, and what kind of people that you look for as part of your hiring process, and what kind of people you want to be part of in the organization?
Sure. I think I can talk about it. Rahul can also talk about it a lot, about that hiring and stuff. So see, we have this one. Okay, there are two pieces to it. One is what kind of people we have, and the second piece is that what is as a leadership, what we think our company should be. We've been part of, as I said, service-based companies or many organizations. So there are a lot of things which we initially thought this is not good for an employee as such, and 100% sure none of them are in our organizations, for sure. It could be as simple as not having. We have a rule that no leadership or no tech leader, nobody is authorized to reject anybody's leaves. It is no way. The only request which you have with everybody is they should let the team know about at least 2 weeks early, and they can take the leaves. They earned it, they can take it. So that itself is a big deal, right? So because a lot of people, what happens is, you like it or not, they need vacations, and they have to take. We were in that situations before when we were employees, and we've been said no, you have to work. And I remember me taking my laptop to beach also to work. Different story, but what I'm trying to say is that is something which is not completely not allowed. And when we are hiring leadership, we clearly keep talking about it a lot. I think most of the discussions when we have with senior folks, we keep talking about it. Guys, once you will be coming here as let's say you've been put into the organization as a technical lead. You can't reject anybody's leaves. Are you okay with this to join our organization? Because I don't want that person to come with that mindset, kind of a thing, right? The second thing is, I think from a tech perspective, me, Rahul talked a lot about it, and finally we come to a conclusion that we don't hire people based on specific to technology. We don't hire people based on a specific to a what do you call that framework. Spring Boot, you come in. React, come in. So we don't do that. So we are very clear. We need to know a language for you to differentiate where you fit. But you should be a problem-solving kind of a person. So that's where the overall, if you look at our hiring, there is a hiring panel setting out, and there is a coding test which is designed by our own team. We don't use any hackerang, nothing we use. We have our own things, which is very simple coding test, which has just problem solving, which is pseudocode, you write and then just come out of it. And which actually tell us that person can solve a problem or not. How he solves a problem is something Google is there. And as long as he knows how exactly need to implement it, he's going to do it anyway. He or she is going to do that anyway. That is also equally keeping our workforce very competitive. So all the people who are working with us are, to be honest, good. From when I try to explain something to them, they can do on their own research and come back to us. So we like they can do on their own a lot of things other than relying on someone else. And we don't want to spoil that culture. I think Rahul has a lot of stake in making sure that that's taken care of. I think so far it's doing great.
And our culture, right? Like you were asking, it's very open. It's like anybody can come to Vijendra's room. Anybody can just knock in and discuss. Obviously, if we are in meeting, we'll tell them, okay, we'll discuss later. But yeah, there is no such restriction like, okay, you are a developer, you cannot come and talk to a CEO or a CTO. No, you go to your lead and manager and then come. No, we have seen like a fresher also directly coming asking us, okay, I am facing this, what to do? Sometimes, obviously, we can answer. Sometimes somebody else can answer. So we'll just divert them. Sometimes we sit with them and solve it. But it's very open. And we don't want to basically have that multiple layers in between. One way that is good. So we also get a lot of exciting and new kind of questions, because new folks coming in have a different way of thinking things, which probably are thinking, I will not say 100% outdated, but sometimes what
it is outdated.
It's gonna little bit bias you or affect you, but new person coming in have a totally different thought process. So we just don't want to miss it. So it's like very open. Leaves is not, we never ever rejected anybody's leave. The only simple thing is plan it and take it. And obviously life doesn't go as planned. So there are times where people suddenly has to go and all, but which can be adjusted without any trouble. But yeah, we never rejected. Work-wise, like we are, like Vijendra was mentioning, like we hire only people who can solve a problem. We never focus on a specific technology or a tech stack where somebody is very kind of I'll not say rigid, but they have that thought process that I am very good in this, I'll continue in this a specific line. We ourselves encourage everybody to like, don't look towards it, because the technology landscape is changing so fast. You, frankly speaking, you don't want to restrict yourself anywhere. So that's where we encourage everybody to think in a way you are solving a problem. Which language or which tool is better to solve that particular problem? Let's focus on that problem specific situations and just use that tool for what it is best at, rather than you thinking, okay, I'll be good in this tool. Obviously, everybody needs to know one language so that they can call themselves expert. And some people have liking towards it. You like it or not, like me and Vijendra, we are very close to Java. It's very difficult for us not to like every problem comes in, we can think we can solve in Java, but that's not how it is. We learned other things, Python, time comes PHP, time comes JavaScript, Node.js, all those things we use, and we encourage everybody to like think like that basically.
And before I forget, I just want to mention one more item also, that most of the hiring what we do, they get hired after either me or Rahul speak to them. So we don't hire anybody who's not talking to us. That's one thing. I don't know how long it's going to run, but we want it to run as much as possible. Sorry?
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Till the time we'll be able to do it, we'll do it. Definitely do it.
We'll do it. So we are trying our best to make sure that we will give that half an hour time. Otherwise, sometimes there are cases where even they had made a decision that we are going to hire the person. We're still going to have a CTO or CEO connects with them later to make sure that we talk to them about it. Another very important thing which slipped my mind, which you usually tell everybody, including our HR team, very clearly, was that family is first important, then company. That is very, very clear. very clear. So if somebody is saying that my kid is sick, for example, we have women employees. We encourage mothers a lot because they need to come back, and they are the best. Trust me, they're the best employees you can ever have. Nobody can solve a problem because like this new mothers, they have all problems in the world. They already solved it, so your problem is nothing for them. We have clearly tell them and talk to them about my kid is sick, so I can't come to work. It's okay. So my somebody is not well at home. I met with an accident, or somebody met with an accident. My friend was met with an accident. Whatever it is, could be in any case, right? It is really important for them to first provide a preference to their personal stuff than work, because if you look at 15 years of experience in this, all those days where somebody was sick, I went to work, I regret. I wish I would have went and visited them that day rather than being in that office. We don't want to have that at all. So, and the work from home culture also we are trying to avoid a lot, because there is learning coming down a lot. But it doesn't mean that we stop people from working from home. They can work from home. Nobody's stopping them. It all depends on, we need to get a confidence in the person, whether the person can do on things on their own. Or see, at the end of the day, if a person comes and joins Techcanopy and 2 years down the line, if he has not learned anything, he's not able to manage on something on his own, that means it's a failure from Techcanopy, not from that person. So that's what we personally feel. That's the reason we encourage everybody to upscale themselves, so that along with them, Techcanopy can also grow.
Coming to your product offering and client relationship that you maintain. So it's been 4 years since you started, ideally. So are there any clients who are very tough in terms of to deal with, or to have a follow-up with the payments as well?
Very good one. So yes and no. It is all depends on situation, and it got changed also. I think money is something which is it's not tough as such. It's like the way it works. So basically, the way I run startups, so I exactly understand how it works. For instance, I'll give you a simple example, right? So one of our customer has to pay, let's assume this beginning of this month, right? So I've had a payment date set in the system, and most of the companies we work with are startups, are just mid scale. They're not like enterprises, right? So the person set the date as, let's say, 1st of August, right? I was expecting a payment on 1st of August. So that person go on vacation. He comes back on, let's say, on 10th, and he's, oh shit, I forgot. And then like it or not, they have a process that they have to reset that invoice into the payment again. That might be coming again 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. So if you think about it, it's a 1 month delay. It's not really 1 month delay. It's a delay because of whatever the processes, or could be a single person missing. Like that, we have missed payments. But payment is not something which we are not keen about from when it comes to talking to customers. So we never talk about customer about, oh, you're not paid and all. We talk to them, we remind them, which is really important for them also to understand that, oh, work is getting done, I'm also getting paid. So both is equally important, but at the same time, we went back to customers in a tough situations where we told customer that we are not doing this. Even though the customer is asking me to do that. And he's like, I'm paying you, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to do this work for you. Because if I do this work for you, you're going to fail. I'm not going to do this for you. That is a tough call, very tough call. I think that is going to be very difficult. That is a trust. At the same time, it is also gives you that you need to have a lot of confidence on your team to go back and tell it to customer. So I am very happy that my team is able to do that. We went back and told customer that, let's do this. I said, no, let's not do this. Let's do this. So because this is going to bring you revenue, this is going to bring you a customer base, this is going to bring you ABC for you. That is a tough call we have, which is like, it depends in the initial days. And I think most of our new customers, as for this detailed reporting, which we hate, what the person has done every hour, what the person has done for every last 8 hours. Tell me why this person has taken 160 hours, what all this guy did in 160 hours. Not most 100% of all our customers only ask that report for first 2 months. That's it. After that, nobody's going to ask that question, because we also have a presence, and we also play this within our own mind and also tell the customer about it, saying that the way customer pick us, we also pick our customer. So most of our engagements, we clearly tell them, first 3 months, wait, because I want you to know how we work. I also want to know how you work. I don't work with you if you're not working the way we have in our mindset, which is also equally important. Otherwise, the relationship will not go. Most of our customers today, I think we didn't lose any customer. We let go of customer. We never lost any customer. Most of our customers, we're not having too many. We are having like 6, 7 right now. And all of the customers are there with us, I think, more than a year. So, and we are working on their platforms and things are good and great. I think it's each person is different. I don't know. We are lucky enough to fight those battles and move on.
So it's not like that. Some customers are tough. Every customer is tough. It's just all depends on what kind of conversation you are having with them. If whatever they are saying, you will say yes to, none of the customer is tough. But if you are going to challenge what they're asking and then you are contributing, you are thinking equally like them, then it turns out to be a good relationship, basically. And that's what it happened with a lot of us. Initially, we had conversations. Then slowly the customers came to know, okay, these people really understand our business and they are really helping us. They have seen the thought process because of us also. Their thought process changed because of discussing with us and talking to us and working with us, and it helped them actually. So that's how it's continuing. And then Vijendra was saying it, we never lost a customer. That's the whole point. So whenever we go and ask, do you want to renew the SOW or not? Like they say, obviously. What kind of question is this? So yeah, so that gives confidence actually.
Nice. So you mentioned that Vijendra earlier mentioned about enterprise architecture services. So can you talk a little bit about that, because I have not really heard about this in the sense that if it's unless it's a very new early stage company, they would want to have they would want to do something like this. They would want to do this work in-house as opposed to hiring someone external to actually get this done for them. So have you seen that any organizations actually look for something like this, or is this not a norm as such, wherein only a few organizations, as and when you start discussing more about the requirements, as and when you start questioning them, as and when you start understanding more about their business, you sort of figure out that this is something that they need and then you offer it. So how does that work?
Well, actually, you're right. It is not a very normal norm where people directly come and ask, hey, do you guys do architecture consulting? Come down. It doesn't work at all. Most of the time it is working. Most of our architectural consulting working is because somebody knows Vijendra, somebody knows Rahul in person. That's how it's working. But there are cases where there are multiple places where we went ahead with architecture consulting because we are part of the organization already, and we happen to question someone's solution or happen to challenge someone's solution that I think they're doing wrong, which is going to impact our product or our platform. I think they shouldn't do this. So that's how the conversation starts, right? So we never been to any organization where they said you're wrong. It's all about, let's sit and discuss about technical challenges and what is other side of the river look like. So most of the cases, what happens, I am an architect, I design my application and say that all my downstream application, upstream application, let them go to hell. That's not my problem. My platform should be good. So, but most of the cases, it shouldn't happen that way. We have to pitch in, understand everybody's aspects and try to, it's like this peace war. We have to win. So where everybody has to go and compromise on some of the aspects and then say, okay, you know what? I'm okay. Today I agreed to let you come to my Rahul had a recent peace war. I am agreeing with you to come with JW token for now. I'm going to put certificate next year. By then you be prepared. So something like that, right? So you need to have that, coordination, cooperation with other architects or other teams also. It's equally important. But most of the cases, what happens in an organization, when we go in and start doing a platform, we eventually become part of their architectural board, like it or not, because I think 3 of our customers, me, Rahul, both are part of their say called ARB, Architectural Review Board. We are part of that. And many cases we don't charge. So in such, like, let's say I spend, let's say 10 hours on one of the customer, we don't charge them. There is selfishness also with it that let me and Rahul expose to a new problem, which give our brain some work. Selfishness of being architect. So and also it gives you a mindset of oh, there is also like this we can think of. So that is something which we're going to do. And we did about to close a customer in Canada. Their core business itself is architecture. So there is a bunch of 20-30 architects sitting in the organization, which they only solve architectural problems. So we want to have an extended wing for them, which did not work out. It's back in 2018, so 2019, I think, 20 and 20. It never worked after COVID has come, but we never get into that situation so far. I think the consulting, when you look at your POV, POCs we talked about, right? That's where this architecture consulting is a major piece of it, where we think about, we design, and all those things we do, and we continue. And the retention, most of the cases, it's going to be retention. There are cases where, for example, platforms, what we're working on with our customers, each of the platform requires an architect, and we are already there. So we are part of that, those as an architect. That's what we're trying to do.
Sure. So Rahul, if you want to add anything for this.
Yeah, so for, like you said, the enterprise architect usually sounds like big enterprises have. Not exactly. Sometimes what happens, this product companies comes up with a product idea and somebody would have like thought about how everything should work out. And they will have a vision in 3 years or 5 years where it should reach. But if it is not reaching, then they will obviously have the questions like what is going wrong. And during that thought process they have, somebody will then suggest them, okay, the way you have designed things, can you just get some external help, get it checked basically. If whatever you design is helping you technically or not. Obviously you are trying to solve a good problem, but is tech helping you there or not, basically. So then, yes, people reach out to us, and that is where most of the times that architecture consulting comes into play, where you will see that enterprise, what problem they are trying to solve, what kind of technical thought process they had, what architecture they put in. And like Vijendra said, right, we most of the time, all these things are basically coming through some contact. Who knows you already? Who knows you? So we usually don't charge. And a lot of times, actually, we get business like that. You went there, you just look at things, you gave your comments, and you came back. That's it. And we'll, as selfish, as a technical guy, I know something different. I looked at somebody, how they implemented. Sometimes what succeeded and what failed, right? What idea or which implementation failed give you more knowledge than what exactly got success, like which idea was successful. So if this kind of problem is there, never to implement because you freehand you got knowledge saying, okay, it doesn't work out, it gives you these 10 problems which probably somebody couldn't think when they are putting the solution. So, and then you basically look at their architecture, tweak it a little bit, and then just obviously come back. And if that idea which you gave and if succeeds, then most of the time they come back saying, okay, these guys exactly know what they're doing. So that's how some of the projects we got like that also. So,
so as you said, you have not lost a client. That is what I understand. And from the technical perspective and the management perspective, I want to understand which client engagement so far has been the most proud moment for you. And can you provide some detail about the engagement itself? And why is it a matter of pride for you?
To be honest, all the customers are, but honestly, I can't name the client. I can just talk about one of the platforms we're working on, which is more on the hospitality domain. They are the customers working with us from day one, almost in April 2020. They're working with us. So that is more of it's an emotional kind of a thing for us, because they are the people who trusted us back when literally we are nobody, right? So and we are actually doing a lot of work with them, and personally, we are very happy with the delivery, the work itself, the platform, what we're trying to build them is amazing. It's great. I can't talk about it, but I can still talk about it. It's amazing and great. That is very personal to me and Rahul, as we both part of it, and now we are not part of it. We came out of it. The team is managing it, but that is one of the great customer we have, and even today we have a customer, and it's going to be for even future. Even if the customer is not with us, we know some of the people who are very friendly, very personally in touch with us. That's one thing, and the second recent customer which I want to talk about is we had one recent deal where we tried working with one of the customer on the legacy to modernization kind of a product platform transition. More of our team were able to cope up with the legacy. It's on PLSQL and that kind of a skill set into the modern world of what we are doing today. I think most of the people who are new developers don't even know what the hell is PLSQL is. So that is where we are very happy, because the way our team cope up with their product and able to upscale, and we did get amazing feedback from customers in a matter of 1 month, 1.5 months, that you guys are great. So I think we underestimated you with what we talked about and all. That is one of the proud moment we have, because this is a recent success story, and it's going well, and I think we are going towards, it's going to be considered to be a long term, and we hope it's going to go well.
Nice. So one more question I had was, with the advent of these new technologies, right? Especially with what OpenAI has done over the past 1 year, they've exposed their APIs also, which developers can access and build applications much more quickly than than the amount of time that it used to take to build something. Say, for example, a chatbot, especially for a customer service engagement. So have you had any business use cases for your customers where you've had to use these technologies and build something? Has there been any sort of example as such, or if not, then I would just want to understand, what do you think about this technology that is almost revolutionary, is what people say.
Yeah, okay. I have a different view altogether, but I agree with you. It's going to be revolutionary for sure. We have no such use cases coming from customers, because most of the customers are from fintech. There's no way, even if they say use it, we will not use it for a different reason altogether. That's one thing. Second thing is, I think very basic thing which I learned talking to some of our developers, sometimes sit with them and to try to debug or try to solve some of their technical challenges. I think previously when people used to write this is like a more of a meme I have seen somewhere, but it's actually reality. Where I think when they used to develop before, they take 1 or 2 hours to debug. Now they code from AI and they're taking 3-4 days to debug. Kind of situations where I think generating a code is never a problem. I think people are thinking on, oh, AI is generating code, oh, awesome. I think the getters hitters, if you talk about all these IDEs which came in, which is generating code a lot for us. And I think from personally, myself, Rahul, built code generators. So we have built code generators in our past, where we had an application where we had a platform where we want to build thousands of microservices. We had built code generators that can generate a whole microservice in a matter of 1 click as a command. That was not a problem at all. But it's all about the thought process, about how much of that you can understand. It's really important. I agree with you. It is going to be revolutionary. It's going to change the way you think about the way the whole business can change. But it is really helpful for prototyping. It will be really helpful for idea testing. So, for example, I want something to be validated within business overnight. Yeah, you have a chatbot right there. But can I streamline? You talked about the customer service, customer support chatbot, right? So, can I streamline my customer processes, customer service process? Yeah, of course you can. But can you come to a process-oriented solutions for that customer's problem? May not be, because the chatbot data could be could give you any output. Again, you need additional thought process and everything coming in. I think that's what most of people are saying. Oh, AI comes and take over all the developer work. It's not true at all, because we had code generators, which I usually tell people that we ourselves have written code generators, which is to do all this work. Even for that matter, as simple as when I was a developer back then, when I know Eclipse and everything which came in and started saying that you can just need to do art getter setter annotation and you're done. You don't write getter setter methods. So like, oh my God, this is like a revolution. Well, it depends on you need to spend more time on, again, that's what me and Rahul keep talking to all developers, that your brain is required to be used to solve a problem, not writing code. Anybody can type the code. So the AI is actually going to make things faster if your developer is smart enough to know how to solve it. So that's where you need to encourage people go towards. So otherwise, it's a misuse or inefficient way of using AI. That's the reason I tell people, if you're using AI to write a LinkedIn post or to write a beautiful email, use it. Why you to use your brain for that? It's okay, use it. But if you're writing a complex solution for example, I want to do a ledger implementation for a bank. So do you use AI? There is no hell way you can use AI. You need to think exactly what is going to happen on day-to-day basis. Literally, you are trying to solve a problem that is eventually going to play with someone's money. So you need to pick where AI is required, AI is not required. And the second aspect also is from AI perspective, your learning is going to be super quick. We used to simply say Google itself is super duper faster. And now we are in the era where you ask a question and somebody is going to give an answer. Rather than you need to Google also. I think we need to use AI in the right place. I think we are thinking about having some R&D kind of a division where we want to do all this generative AI and related work. But we're not there yet. So I think we need to take some time. So we work in a model where we stabilize the customer and then we move on to new customer. We don't take customers left and right. So we take a customer, stabilize the customer to make sure that, our team should be able to understand the business, then move on. But we are not there with current set of workload what you already have. So it might take some time.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, those were the questions that I had. So Shreyas, did you have any more questions?
I have nothing else. I think from the conversation, what I understood is Techcanopy is a great company to work for. Understanding their culture, their clients, and the approach to clients as well. So that is what.
Definitely. I mean, this is probably one of the most honest podcasts that we've done so far. Like both the Vijendra and Rahul were super honest about whatever they mentioned, and we can see through we can see the passion through their words. When they were explaining about their organization and all the clients that they've dealt with and all the challenges. So yeah, that was really honest. So thanks Vijendra, thanks Rahul for taking your time out. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We have lots more to come on this channel since we have lined up a few more guests after this. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive updates. In the description below, I have provided the LinkedIn page link. Follow us on LinkedIn to receive new notifications. So until next time, it's goodbye.